When I trained as a life coach some time ago, part of the training was that we were put into what are called coaching circles, which consist of three people. One pretended to be a life coach, one pretended to be a client, and one did an assessment of the process, and we changed roles, obviously. We've been told that the process was not exactly strict, but that there were certain things that you really should or shouldn't do. When it was my turn to be the life coach, I was pretending to coach a young woman who told me she had problems getting on with her mother. Now, I started to go through the process of life coaching. I asked questions and listened to what she responded, and then asked other questions. But that effectively is the process. We were told that you don't make suggestions, you don't tell people what to do, you don't give people answers, because it's one of the basic tenets of life coaching that you enable the client to find their own answers. And the reason for this is obvious to everybody, really. You know what it's like if you have some sort of a problem. You might go and talk to a member of the family or a colleague or a friend or whatever about it, and you'll no doubt be discussing this, but if your experience is the same as mine, it's only a matter of time until the other person starts a sentence with words such as, if I were you, I'd do whatever. The problem is, of course, that they aren't you, they've never been you, they never will be you. Their experiences and the content of their subconscious mind is totally different from yours. You might have felt perfectly happy with what they've suggested. I think that might be rare. More likely is that you listen to what they say, but you feel uneasy. Well, no, I don't think I can do that. And the worst thing is that can happen is that you might say to the person, well, yes, I can see what you're getting at, or something like that, but I don't feel comfortable with it. And the person turns on you and says something like, well, you asked for my advice and now you're not taking it, as if you have to. You know, what the person really meant when they said, if I were you, I'd do whatever, is, in your position, this is what I would do. Well, perhaps they would, but they're not you. So it's perfectly valid. You shouldn't actually give people advice. You shouldn't tell people what to do in life coaching. But my approach is somewhat different. When I was pretending to be a life coach and speaking to this young woman, I was saying, well, have you ever thought about it this way? Do you think it could be something to do with that? Or what do you think she might be thinking? Or possibly questions, you might regard them as suggestions, such as that. Interestingly, when I finished, the woman who was assessing me turned on me and said, I thought that was awful. You were doing this, you shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done the other, and whatever. But the young woman actually, who I was coaching, sided with me and looked at this other woman and said, well, actually, I found it very useful. You see, you can ask people questions and questions and questions in response to what they say, but if you've got an idea that might help them, surely it's better to suggest this idea, or perhaps a different way of looking at things to help them to progress. How long would it take asking one question after another, after another, after another to get them to that? It could take months. My approach to life coaching, and I'm a professional life coach, is that the point is to get the client to their level of satisfaction and solution as quickly as possible. And to do this, I do tell anecdotes, I do tell personal stories, I do tell them my own experiences, I do make suggestions as perhaps this might be worth looking at or that might be worth looking at, but I never tell people what to do. There's no point, because people have to make up their own minds. But my approach to life coaching is that anything that enables them to change their perceptions, or at least to challenge their perceptions and challenge their beliefs, is worth doing. I'm not one to keep people coming back to me time after time after time after time. If I can't help people within 2 or 3 sessions using life coaching and neuro-linguistic programming, of which I'm a certified trainer and master practitioner, if I can't help them within 2 or 3 sessions, I won't keep them coming back. Because if I can't help them, they should go and see somebody else. It's been suggested to me that people who do keep clients coming back week after week after week for goodness knows how long really aren't doing the best for their clients. Their agenda is probably somewhere else. I might be wrong. That isn't a general suggestion. Perhaps there are some people who do that. All I'm saying is that my approach to life coaching is to get the best I can for the client in the shortest possible time, and if I can't help, I'll be the one to give up.